Also reading. I did an article. My dad and I, we worked on this article, 8,000 plus words, and it's on the death of Levi. I recorded a whole video about it. I just need to do the editing and add B-roll and things like that. It's going to take me some time, some hours of work. But it's about the death of Levi and, deep diving into Jewish history after the crucifixion and what happened. And, who were the high priests that were involved in killing Christ and what was going on? And who were they? And who were their kids? And what happened to them? And who was the high priest who persecuted Paul? What happened to him? What happened to his son? What? And then you look at the history, and no one has done this. No one put the pieces together. The two high priests who were involved in having Christ killed, Annas and Caiaphas. Who were they? Who was Annas? Who was Caiaphas? What did Jesus have to say about them? And then you look into the parable of Lazarus and the rich man. It's actually a response to Caiaphas, and that's Jesus saying, Caiaphas, you're damned. Your brothers-in-law are damned. Your father-in-law, Annas, is damned, because Annas was the father-in-law of Caiaphas. And then you look at what happened to Annas' son, Hanan ben Hanan. What happened to him? He got accused of being an enemy of the temple. He was killed. Well, his father accused Jesus of being an enemy of the temple, and he had Jesus Christ killed, and he, contrived the whole conspiracy to have Jesus killed. And his son had a conspiracy done against him, and he was accused of being an enemy of the temple and executed by his own fellow Jews. And it's like, man, the curse. I mean, what happened? They said, let his blood be upon us and on our children. Well, Christ's blood was on the son of Annas. And what happened to the son of Annas? Hanan ben Hanan, that was his name. He was killed by his own people after he was charged with being an enemy of the temple. It's amazing. It really is amazing. And then there was a high priest by the name of Hananiah who persecuted St. Paul, wanted to kill St. Paul. What happened to Hananiah? Well, he was killed by who? By his own fellow Jews, by zealots. And his son, Eliezer, sparked the whole war with the Romans that led to the destruction of the temple. It was like crazy what happened in all this history. And that's why I really dug deep into this stuff. My dad and I worked on this article, 8,000 plus words. Go read it. It's called The Death of Levi. Very good essay. One of the best essays I've ever done. I worked a number of weeks on it. Really, if you think about it, I was working on it last month, because last month I was talking about this, but I never really put it onto paper. But definitely was putting all my thoughts together, because I was planning on doing an article. Finally published it 2 days ago. And just a very good article. It's more of an essay, actually, than an article. But no one does that. No one does that. No one's putting those pieces. No one's connecting those dots. Everyone's like, 70 AD, the temple was destroyed. And what happened? What went on there? What was the intricacies? Who were involved? Who were they? What was happening? As soon as I hear someone say, the Romans destroyed the temple in 70 AD, I just know, like, have you read Josephus? Because Josephus gives you a whole new story. Josephus tells us that the Jews were butchering each other like crazy. But once you know, you know. That's the thing. Once you know, you know. And here comes Jesus, and he's saying, guys, I'm the temple. And they're like, kill him! And he's like, take this temple down in 3 days. I'm going to rebuild it. In other words, you're going to kill me. I'm going to come back after 3 days. I'm the temple. And St. Paul was inside the temple praying, and Jesus appeared to him. And Jesus said, what are you doing here, Paul? What are you doing here? They're going to reject your message anyway. They're going to reject me anyway. What are you doing? Leave. Go talk to the non-Jews. Go talk to the Gentiles. Go talk to the white dudes, the Middle Eastern dudes who aren't Jewish. Go talk to the Africans, the black dudes. They're going to listen to you. These people aren't going to listen to you. And you have these evangelicals in America who are so insane, straight up, you guys, I'm not saying you guys personally, but generally speaking, these evangelicals are so insane. They're like, guys, some rancher lunatic in Texas bred some red heifers. And they're going to because they need a red heifer to do a sacrifice on the temple. They're going to build the third freaking temple. And this is going to usher in the end times, Armageddon. And all we got to do, we got to build a temple on the Mount of Olives or on the Dome of the Rock, And they're going to have red heifers, and we're going to bring in the temple. We're going to bring in the temple because we need a third temple. The third temple has to be up. And Jesus is literally saying, I'm the temple. And you have these evangelical lunatics, these Judaizers, whatever you want to call them, messianic loons. They're like the third temple. And Jesus is saying, I am the temple. You guys are thinking just like the fanatics who killed Christ. Do you know how sick that is? It's so sick. It just directly is against the Bible. It's explicitly antichrist. It's evil. All this third temple stuff is evil. It's absolutely evil. It's so evil. It's so evil, guys. It's like, think of you know how the Christians back in the day, they'd freak out when they see a goth. I mean, I kind of freak out when I see them. The goths have nothing on these people. Like the purple, the black lipstick chicks who watch Chucky's Bride every October for Halloween. I love horror movies. Those bitches ain't got nothing on the red heifer loons. Nothing. Because the goths they're just explicitly like in your face. Look at me, I'm rebellious. Evangelicals are like, oh, I believe in Jesus. But we need the third temple. It's like, well, hold on a second now. If you start building a temple, you start sacrificing animals on there, the Muslims aren't going to like that. And then the Jews and the Muslims are going to start butchering each other over the Temple Mount. And there's going to be bloodshed, and it could lead to escalating violence. It could act like a conflagration of bloodshed throughout Israel. And you're going to cause a big mess. We don't care. We don't give a damn how many people are killed. Gotta get the third temple. But Jesus said, I am the temple. Why are you doing this? Don't care. Build a temple. I mean, they're so evil, these people. They're so evil. It's the most sinister thing I've ever seen. All these Christians, Anton LaVey, the Church of Satan. Let's talk about the people who actually killed Christ. Seriously. The people who actually killed Christ. The high priest Annas, Caiaphas, those people, they wanted their temple there. And Jesus comes along and says, take this temple down. It's all going to come down. I'm going to rebuild it in 3 days. And before Jesus said that, if you read the scripture, it says that there were people there who told Jesus, oh, Jesus, look at look at this temple. Look at the amazing architecture. Look at the stones, how they shine. And Jesus said, it's all coming down. It's all coming down. And they said, this man's an enemy of the temple. Kill him. So he tried to cause a revolution. He wants to destroy the temple. He's an enemy of the temple. And they went to the Romans and they made up a conspiracy and they said, this man's an enemy of the Caesar. You have to kill him. And they killed him. And Pilate gave them many chances to have Jesus free. They said, Barabbas or Jesus? Barabbas. And in the name of defending Rome, because the high priest said, we have no king but Caesar. Jesus is not our king. In the name of defending Rome, they preserved the life of someone who actually tried to start an insurrection against the Romans, because Barabbas was a rebel. He was also a murderer. And in the name of defending their religion, they had their Messiah killed. And so these people, and they saw, here's the thing, is that the high priest, they saw Lazarus back from the dead. And if you read John's gospel, it says that after they saw Lazarus back from the dead, the high priest noticed that all these Jews started following Jesus. They said, this man's the Mashiach. I mean, only God can bring people back from the dead. So they started following Jesus. And you know what? Do you know what the high priest said? They said, Lazarus was brought back from the grave. We're going to put him back in there. We're going to kill Lazarus. You know how evil you have to be? When you see a man brought back from the dead and then you want to kill him again just to preserve your own power, just to preserve your own institution. You know how evil you have to be? Do you know how evil you have to be? This is like, oh, Anton LaVey of the Church of Satan, yet they're worshiping Israel. Yeah, Anton LaVey, yeah, evil, absolutely, but it's in your face. We know it's evil. You don't have to convince me that it's evil. You don't have to talk about Anton LaVey. We know he's evil. We know that the Church of Satan, evil, right? Church of Satan. But none of these people talk about the synagogue of Satan. Oh, yeah, they talk about the church of Satan. They don't talk about the synagogue of Satan. And they don't talk about that verse from John where he says, calling themselves Jews when they are really of the synagogue of the devil. Yeah, they don't talk about that. Israel. It's crazy, guys. It's so insane, this stuff.